What is happening, y'all? From you can see the title of this video, I have quite a story to tell you. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage because it all got deleted that day, and you'll soon come to know why. I wasn't gonna make this video because I did not want to scare my mom half to death, but she ended up finding out, and here I am telling you guys. Before I get started, I'm not going to say exactly where this story happened in Medellin because I want to kind of protect those involved, and I won't give you any descriptions of what they look like either. I just want to tell this story to, one, get some answers for myself, because maybe you guys can clarify who these people were, exactly what happened to me, and then I want to talk about the whole political climate of the YouTube space right now, and the idea around YouTube videos about danger, going to dangerous places, and how we could do this in a way that will get less foreigners killed or in shitty situations, because this shit is serious. Y'all aren't Dora the Explorer out here. You're not in Switzerland when you're in Latin America. You know, you can't just go anywhere you want, and I learned this the hard way. So let's get into this story. Hopefully I can do this in one take. So, I was in Medellin, and I wanted to go explore the comunas, the barrios, and I think I kind of got this little idea in my head that they weren't as bad as they were made out to be. If you watch my video from Comuna 8, I went there and I had a great time. This isn't a tourist place, no tourists go to this place, but also the people in this community, I think they make money in very honest ways, you know, not like where the place I went, where they don't make money in honest ways, thus my presence there was not invited. When I went to Comuna 8, everyone was super welcoming. When I went to this place, everyone was not welcoming. If I'm filming people in an area where they make an honest living, they're not gonna care. They're gonna be super inviting, and as you can see in that video, people were so excited to see me there and have a conversation with me. So I basically saw this neighborhood from the roof of my hostel, and I noticed that the lights in this neighborhood were white. Well, the rest of the lights, it's weird to say this, but it has relevance. The rest of the lights of the city were yellow. I didn't cue into this, but after I realized this area is actually on the outside, technically, of Medellin. So they're self-sufficient. I guess Medellin police don't go there. They police their own area. I didn't realize this, but I saw this area and I really wanted to go up in the hills and explore there. But of course, since police don't go there, they could probably get away with a lot of lucrative stuff. So I went there, and the first warning sign I should have realized was going into this community that there was only one road to go in there, and the rest of the ways to get in there were through footbridges. So I went over one of these footbridges and I started exploring. It was like dirt roads, chickens running around everywhere, quite dodgy. It wasn't like when I was in Community 8 and people were like, hey man, what's up, where are you from? They're kind of standoffish. I started filming a little, and one guy, he told me not to film. And obviously that's a warning sign everywhere you go. If someone's telling you what to film, there's probably a clear reason. There's probably illicit activity going on there, and it's for their own safety. So I started to walk around just with my camera by my side. I was kind of skeptical. I didn't want to film. I highly advise, if you want to maybe do some urban exploration, ask around first, because this wasn't something I did. I thought I did some research on Google, but no, like I really should have been asking people around, like, how is this neighborhood? Is it safe? Can I make a YouTube video here? And if your Spanish isn't up to that level, get it up to that level where you can get clarification, because I definitely did not get clarification and I paid for it. So I was walking around, I wasn't filming, and my camera was by my side, and I got up to, I think it was like a soccer field or whatnot. People were doing like cockfighting or something. And I saw this guy. I forget if I approached him or asked him a question or shot him a smile. You know, I was just trying to be inviting, like say hey, like smile at people, not be weird. And he told me to wait here for a second, and I was kind of curious, like what he means by that. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna leave. And then he grabbed me and he started speaking into some like walkie-talkie thing in his shirt. Recently, I watched a Harold Balder video where he was in Brazil, and what he said really resonated with me. He was filming, but he was saying, "Oh, you need to avoid the people with the walkie-talkies," and that really resonated with that whole experience. This must have been one of the guys with the walkie-talkies. You know, when you're in the favelas, there's these people who are like the security. They're looking out for the best interests of the community, so they don't want any outsiders, any gringos going around with GoPros recording them. So once they see a person with a GoPro, they're gonna grab you, they're gonna be like, we have a bogey here, and get all their buddies to come. So that's exactly what happened. He told me to wait there, and like I was trying to leave, and he ended up grabbing me, pushing me against the wall, and I got completely cornered by people. And while that was happening, I was even like asking people like, Ayúdame, like help me, to like these old ladies walking by, and like they just laughed. Like no one there seemed like they wanted to help me. Everyone there seemed like they were against me. So I thought at that point I was getting robbed, but it turns out like I got completely cornered, and they're reaching for my thing. I had my satchel on, they're reaching for all my stuff, and there's a little bit of a loss in translation language exchange, but it turns out they just wanted to take my GoPro and delete all the footage on it, and that's exactly what happened. And I was super grateful, and I told them I was really sorry, it was a misunderstanding, and that I'm just gonna leave now. And so that's exactly what I did. I started to walk away, and then I thought I was more in the clear because I was on my way out of there. Like that was scary enough as it is. And then this is where the really shitty part happened, is another group of people. So that was probably a group of like 4 people who cornered me. Another group of probably, they're like kids. They're like 18. They came up to me and they cornered me, and they were asking for my ID and whatnot. And I told them like, no, solo quiero salir. Like, I just want to leave. Like, I'm on my way out of here. And that's whenever the kid, he showed me, he had a badge. I guess he was some kind of security. He showed me he had a hat with a security thing on it. And then he flashed me his gun. And he was trying to push me towards off the main road. I wanted to stay on the main road, so I was at least in the public eye, so they couldn't do anything dodgy to me. But once I saw his gun, I was like, yeah, I'm going with them. So I followed them into this alley, and they kind of stopped me at this point where there's a couple shacks. On the other side, it was a complete ravine. It was way out of the public eye. I remember seeing like an old grandpa in one of the shacks, and again, I was just like, ayúdame, por favor, like help me please, like I don't know what is going on. And so that's when they kept asking for my identification, and I went here without my wallet because if I were to get robbed, like they might just take my camera. So I didn't have anything. So I just kept saying like, no lo tengo, like I don't have it. And they kept just showing me like examples of their IDs and whatnot. And I'm like, yes, I understand, entiendo, but I do not have my ID with me. Like I came here because I thought it was a dangerous place and I didn't want to bring my ID with me. And that's when the kid with the gun, he took out his gun. He didn't point it directly at me, but he was waving that thing around. Like he was making it apparent that he had a gun and I needed to cooperate with him, and I was trying to cooperate because there was really nothing else I could do. At that point, I was scared shitless, and I think I went into some like fight or flight mode where I summoned all the Spanish I had, and I was trying to cooperate with them, and they still just like, well, this kid's waving his gun at me, like was showing me pictures of my ID, and I still like said I didn't have it. At that point, they were going through my satchel, looking for everything, didn't have an ID. So he took my GoPro out, he took my satchel off of me, and I think there was just 2 of them there. The kid with the gun was like done waving it around, and he went and looked through, I guess, my GoPro and my stuff. He put my satchel back on me, and he told me I could leave. And I was like, praise the Lord. I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't care if he has my GoPro, like I'm gone. And I went. And when I was on the main road, I speed walked just to not look super suspicious. Whenever I got into alleyways, I was running, like I was trying to get out of there, like, and I got across the little walking bridge, went all the way, an hour walk, just like super frustrated, all the way to the metro station. I got there, and at this whole time I was thinking like, yeah, these kids, they took my GoPro. And then I went for my Metro Pass and I noticed I still had my GoPro in my satchel. And at that point, I thought I was losing my mind. I do not remember getting my GoPro out there. I think it's quite funny that like Medellin police will extort you over a bag of drugs, and they'll take hundreds of dollars for you and then give back the drugs. Yet these kids, they didn't take anything from me. I think maybe the kid was just trying to act cool for his friends. He was young and put in a position of power and took out his gun and wanted to scare the shit out of me. But at the same time, as I'm downplaying that, like, I still do think I got lucky, and it could have been a lot worse, where the person who I encountered while filming might not have been security, but might have been someone involved in illicit activity who had a gun, who had the motto of shoot first, ask questions last, you know? At least this kid questioned me. He went about his job properly, trying to get my ID. I don't think it was proper that he took his gun out, you know? He was just asking for my ID. He didn't take anything from me and let me go. But yeah, that was pretty goddamn scary. So if anyone has any clarifications to, I think I have a gist of what went on, you know, like this place is on the fringe of the city. No police go there. They're involved with illegal, illicit activity, and their security is supposed to protect the best interest of the community, which is probably drugs. But if anyone who's from Colombia or has any insight on exactly who these people are, what happened, if you could leave a comment below and let me know to get some clarification, that would be amazing. Oh, okay. We're still doing this in one take. The second part to address is the YouTube space. I've definitely seen a huge transition within the space on YouTube to have more authentic experiences. You know, I'm not going to name any names, but we've transitioned from a space on YouTube where travelers were making content more like towards like lifestyle and glamorous travel and beautiful montages, and now we have the people who are really doing good are just kind of turning their camera on, barely editing, and showing the local life. You know, it's not all these tourist things. It's just like how people live in communities and whatnot. And I think where people get this mixed up is they think they need to go to Colombia's most dangerous hood to make these kind of videos. And obviously, like, I love making local videos, and some of the places I go are dangerous, but like, it took a video like this to really humble me and to really show that doing these things, you need to do your research. And maybe if you don't know, like, ask people, go with someone who knows, or improve your Spanish first. But I think the people who are making this kind of content, I'm guilty of this too. I always say I'm trying to change the narrative, which I am. I'm trying to change the narrative around Mexico or Colombia. But I still think I need to elaborate on that further. Whereas, like, yeah, these are good places with good people. But as I said before, you're not Dora the Explorer. This is not Switzerland. You cannot just roam around these places at free will and walk into some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in these countries, because you're gonna have a bad time. And especially when you're filming, and I feel like the creators who are making these content need to have a little bit more responsibility for what they're putting out there, and maybe educate more about the places they're going, because I see a lot of creators just throwing up titles like entering Colombia's most dangerous hood, entering Peru's most dangerous hood, wherever's most dangerous hood. And people are impressionable. You know, I got into this because whenever I first watched YouTuber X, wasn't gonna name any names, it was like discovering frickin' sliced bread. I did not realize you could just turn your camera on, walk around a neighborhood, and people would like that. Like, this is the kind of content that people like. I thought you had to be more of like a lifestyle YouTube travel vlogger to be successful. And like, I saw this, I'm like, this is the kind of stuff I want to do. So I think I definitely mimicked the style. Like, we see many creators out here mimicking the style of creator X. And obviously, if we have a lot of people mimicking the style, very impressionable, they're gonna go do the same thing. We're not creating that narrative about safety and whatnot. It's quite dangerous. especially when you bring your camera into things. You know, the most dangerous hood in Colombia, if that exists, is not the same as the most dangerous hood in Colombia to go film in. Bringing a camera into a neighborhood is a whole different story than just walking around this neighborhood. Because I swear I could have, even if this neighborhood seemed pretty dodgy, if I was just there walking around, I don't think my presence would have been so disruptive. But the difference was having this camera. Because there are a lot of neighborhoods in Latin America, and it's hard to identify these neighborhoods because you can't really Google these things. It's pretty black and white, where a neighborhood where they make money through illicit activity, you know, like I went to Community, and I think I got pretty lucky. At least the majority of people I met there probably made a honest day's living, and my presence with a camera was not uninvited. But I was quite uninvited whenever I went to a neighborhood where they don't make an honest living, and I literally was sticking a camera in trying to film and talk to people. And yeah, that's basically the big difference. When you have a place who are making money off illegal activity, they don't want their neighborhood filmed. Sorry, brain fart. I've been going at this for 16 minutes now, but I do think I still have a couple valuable points to tell. Yeah, so they don't want their neighborhood filmed because there's rival gangs. They don't want people doing a reconnaissance, and whenever you're an outsider, you don't know who I could be working for. I'm just a guy who just wanted to go film your neighborhood, but obviously they don't understand that. They just see me as an outsider, and I don't blame them for what they did, trying to keep their neighborhood and the kind of business that they do there safe. I do think it was a stretch that the kid had to pull a gun out on me, but at the same time, I got lucky because it was just the security and not some guy who wasn't a security who could have took it too far. So I think my final remarks here is that as creators, we need to take a little bit more responsibility as far as the places we go, and not just put titles up on YouTube like this is the most dangerous neighborhood in country X and I'm gonna go there, because you know one day your luck's gonna run out and it could be pretty bad. You know, I see a lot of these creators going with people with people basically as guides, or like calling something the most dangerous hood when it's not actually the most dangerous hood. But you could have impressionable people who want to come up on the YouTube space who are actually seeking out the most dangerous places to go, and not just going there, but going there and also filming. So yeah, I think as creators, we got to take a little bit more responsibility. I'm not saying don't go to these places, but educate your followers, do your research, and yeah, and don't lie to people about this is the most dangerous hood ever. I still want to keep urban exploring and showing local life all over the world, but I think I'm gonna do it in a way where I'm less likely to get killed. Yeah, so those are my closing remarks. If anyone has any input about what happened to me, I'd appreciate that. I think we should all keep exploring and learning and discovering, but we need to do more research and take more responsibility for places we're going, because people are impressionable and they might not be as lucky as I was. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and staying this long. I'm in Ecuador now. I'm excited to be in a new country, so stay tuned from content from here. Thanks, guys. Peace.